The road stretched out before me, a seemingly endless path, cutting through the desolate landscape of Fairbanks, Alaska. The midnight hour had long passed, and I found myself driving alone in the darkness, the only source of light coming from my headlights, piercing through the black void. The isolation of the night was suffocating. The vast expanse of wilderness seemed to close in around me, as if nature itself was watching, waiting for its perfect moment to strike. My hands tightened on the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white as a chill ran up my spine. As I drove further into the night, a sense of unease settled over me. Shadows danced along the edges of my vision, fleeting glimpses of movement that sent shivers down my spine. I tried to shake off the feeling, reminding myself that it was just my overactive imagination playing tricks on me. But then, a figure appeared on the side of the road. My heart skipped a beat as I caught sight of a pale face staring back at me, its eyes reflecting the dim glow of my headlights. I swerved to avoid hitting it, my tires screeching against the asphalt as I fought to regain control of the car. Breathing heavily, I glanced back in my rear-view mirror, but there was no sign of the figure. It had vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving me questioning my own sanity. Was it a trick of the light? Or was it something more sinister? I continued driving, my grip on the steering wheel tightening with each passing mile. The road seemed to stretch on forever, a never-ending loop, leading me deeper into the heart of darkness. The silence was deafening, broken only by the hum of the engine and the sound of my own racing thoughts. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the night air, causing me to jump in my seat. I slammed on the brakes, bringing the car to a screeching halt. My heart pounded in my chest as I peered out into the darkness, searching for the source of the noise. Then, without warning, a figure darted across the road in front of me. I gasped, my breath catching in my throat as I watched it disappear into the shadows. Panic surged through my veins as I realized I was not alone on this desolate stretch of road. With trembling hands, I fumbled for my phone, desperate to call for help. But as I glanced down at the screen, I found that there was no signal. I was completely cut off from the outside world, trapped in this nightmare. As I sat there, paralyzed with fear, a tapping sound began to echo against the windows of my car. Slow and deliberate, it sent chills down my spine. I turned to look, and my blood ran cold. Faces pressed against the glass, their eyes wide and vacant. They whispered incoherent words, their voices barely audible over the pounding of my heart. I screamed, but no sound escaped my lips. The figures outside only grinned wider, their twisted smiles filled with malice. In a blind panic, I threw open the car door and stumbled out onto the road. The figures followed, their footsteps echoing in my ears as they closed in around me. I ran, my legs pumping as fast as they could carry me. but it felt as if I was running in place. The road seemed to stretch on forever, each step taking me further into the abyss. My lungs burned, my muscles screamed in protest, but still, I pushed forward. The figures were relentless, their whispers growing louder with each passing moment. Just as I felt myself on the verge of collapse, a faint light appeared in the distance. Hope surged through me as I sprinted towards it, desperate to escape the horrors that pursued me. As I drew closer, I realized it was a gas station, a beacon of safety in this nightmarish landscape. I burst through the doors, gasping for breath as I stumbled to the counter. The attendant looked at me with concern, his eyes widening as he took in my disheveled appearance. I tried to explain what had happened, but the words caught in my throat. He nodded, sympathetically, as if he had heard this story 1,000 times before. "You're not the first to experience something strange on these roads," he said softly. "There are things out there that defy explanation." As I left the gas station, the memory of that night still fresh in my mind, I couldn't help but wonder about the mysteries that lurked in the darkness of Fairbanks, Alaska. The road may be treacherous, the night may be filled with terrors, but I vowed to never let fear consume me like that. For there's a thin line between reality and the unknown, and sometimes it's best not to cross it.